with my childhood, I had to endure um, pretty regular um, sibling abuse from my brother, who's no longer with us. But I mean, there was it was the physical and mental abuse was so much of a strain. There's a number of years I don't even remember, like, and that's stayed with me. Um, and so a lot of that's been a lot of, the caregivers that were there and just sort of turned a blind eye, which were female. Okay,
Yeah.
so that a lot of the stuff that I'm trying to work through is this, like, why didn't you guys do
Step
anything?
in.
Why didn't you step in? What, like, I remember the things that you guys said. I was getting beat up. I mean, it's not something I can ever really forget. It's very traumatic to hear. You guys are going to sort that out, you know,
You know
as
what I
I'm
love
as I'm
about
being bloodied. I mean, that's so when I hear, I always have such a triggered reaction to someone talking about rape, another girl was raped, or not, this and that. I mean, like,
Mhm.
your story's heinous, like, you can't top that at all. But when I hear when a girl tells me she was raped, I'm like, I would trade what I did for your rape. If it was something I would tell her, and that would definitely not go very well. But I wish there was some way that I can explain to people that no one even acknowledges this as a problem, you know.
Oh my God, I love, now we're getting authentic. Now, now we're getting to the meat of this. You know what? You're the first person, the first male who's had this conversation with me. And this is why you and I are perfect. And the universe had this divine timing of us to speak only to each other, because it could only be each other. Because you have that with the female, and I had my issues, as I previously told you, with men, especially white men, because of being trafficked in my childhood and that other pervy side. So tell us more, because you know what, you're in a safe place here and we need to learn, and I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, thanks. I mean, because this is, I mean, it's amazing that you're able to have that space for me, um, without having sort of a defensiveness, Um,
My heart just opened up all the way, and I'm here. I
well,
need to hear what you have to say, and so many others too.
just the reality is that, you know, as a man that's been through like decades of physical and mental abuse with with my brother, um it it was you get to certain thresholds where things start happening that you're not aware of. So with me, I wet the bed and I could not pay attention in school. Like, I was not functional as a
Right,
as a as a as a child,
right.
because it was I was not I didn't I felt totally depersonalized from the first grade up until maybe the fourth grade. The beginning of the fourth grade, I remember when I first started to be conscious again, because the trauma was so great. And I'm not saying that.
You leave your
Well,
body. You leave your body. Yes, I
I
get it.
totally left my body,
Of course.
and maybe I'm remembering it incorrectly, but I can tell you that at some point people just break, and that's what happened to me, and that was the breaking point. And I don't think it impacted my schooling. It impacted my ability to study, my grades. It impacted um, it impacts my relationships to this day. I'm not very close with my family because I everyone's gonna take advantage of you. You know,
Yeah,
you can't.
yeah.
I don't let anyone close
You
to me.
don't let them in.
I have a very. I hold people, even my family, at arm's distance because of that. And I don't even. It's not that it's something I intentionally do. It's just something I do unconsciously.
I totally get
So
it. I totally get you. And you know what? Let me just share something with you. for example, Eve, who is our headliner on this summit, she talks about when she left her body. And we all remember, I know when I left my body and disassociated from my body because it was not a safe place to be in my body. And so we learn all of these other survival skills on how to survive in the world. And there are so many of us out in the medical profession who haven't dealt with those issues, and we're still hiding addictions, and we haven't healed ourselves. And that is what my truest message is. How are we going to be of service and help others if we're speaking from our wounds and not from our scars? If we haven't done the inner work and the inner journey, and I'm not all the way there yet. You know what? We're not all the way there. I don't know if we ever get all the way there. But how are we going to really help people if we haven't healed ourselves? That's the true healer's journey. And I love that you're being vulnerable and talking about this, because you are going to find, well, let me tell you what I found in the last year and a half of speaking about it. I never thought I would be publicly and being recorded talking about being sex trafficked as a kid. I never thought I would talk about this. And the more I've been talking about it and healing, I've seen there's so many more of us. And then one day you just like, oh my God, you too, you too, you too. And then now, like what you and I are discussing, you too, this is what I'm talking about. We need to work together to help heal together the male and the female energies. And you need to keep talking about what's going on with you. So I'm sorry to interrupt again. Please tell me more, because you're in a safe place.
Well, I think it's certainly affected the way, maybe my assertiveness. So that was something that I had to putting up strong boundaries. So that was something I had to burn through. I think I've gotten to a place where I have that, but I think sometimes the boundaries are too strong. I mean, it's something I'm working on.
Right.
Also, another thing is, I noticed that as I've gotten healthier, so I noticed that when my health was compromised, that's when all these problems came out.
Absolutely.
I mean, because now I'm having to deal with my illnesses, and I don't really have a childhood I can really look back on either. I think that you distort everything when you're sick, and so you put on these glasses where the world is black. And so you look back, you can look back on a childhood that had some positive aspects, and it becomes more negative. So it's you sometimes remembering something is you're sort of remembering a time you recalled something, of a time that you recalled something. Each time you're sort of layering filters on top of it about how you felt at the time that you did that. So for some of this stuff, you don't really necessarily know what the true reality is, but that doesn't make it less real. I mean, it's still very real to me.
They're real. And there's stories, like you're doing Landmark, so there's stories that are real, just like my life and my journey. It's a story that is real, but it's still a story we tell ourselves. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy deep.
Well, talking about Landmark education. Yeah, there's, as I've gotten better, I've started pushing myself more, had more businesses, more employees, more interactions, playing a higher game, higher level game. And that's another way that these things come up again, because now you're under, if you want to know someone, apply pressure.
Right. And you know what is cool?
Apply stress to the individual.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what is really cool too is, I've said this a lot, and I want to say this to you too. In the process of creating this, I have had to heal myself and elevate to a different level in order to be the container to be able to get such a huge message out there. I have had to evolve in this process and do the inner work in order to get my message out there and to be in alignment with other people who are doing the same thing. And you're doing the exact same thing. And if no woman has ever told you, I'm sorry for everything you ever went through as a child also. And we need to heal together so that we can the male and the female can link arm in arm so that we can make sure this doesn't continue happening and continue cycling throughout the ages, and working together, and through your own healing and through my own healing and all of us on the summit. And those, we have another person here on the summit. Her father killed her mother and then married her aunt. Talk about forgiveness. And she created the Forgiveness Project. We have, everyone on the summit has been through hell and back. That's why I said in the beginning, you can't even kill me. It wouldn't even phase me. There's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could do. We're working together. And I really appreciate and honor your authenticity in this. And together we can. I know it sounds kind of corny, but together we're doing it. That's what this is all about. It just so happens to be some of us are doctors, some are nurses, some are V-Day global activists, some are coaches. A lot of doctors are on this, and they pull off their fake mask. Like Phil, he was talking about, he was in a car accident and he still had the IV. He was shooting up while I was seeing patients. Come on, I've come home and just got tore up after seeing patients. It is what it is, but we're realizing it and we're healing together. We need to be authentic, because you know what? People out there are really suffering and they can smell BS a mile away. And if we haven't healed ourselves, we can help them, but it's talk. It's about walking the talk. And I'm just learning to walk the talk myself. I'm not there yet.